Welcome back to my workshop. Now again today we've got another box of goodies here. Again, purchased with my own money, all part of my improvements to the workshop. Now my last video, this one here, I showed you my extending or retractable airline hose. For in a small workshop like this, having something that you can retract out of the way, you're not tripping over cables and things, that's a good idea. So why are we here? In this box, I've got a retractable extension lead. Okay, so normally I have these ones, okay, which are all hanging up here. But obviously every time I get those out, they end up dragging all over the floor and they're a bit of a pain to roll up afterwards. Okay, so what I've got here is an extension cord that should hang on the wall. Let's have a look. So what we got here is a extension hose by Super Handy. Okay, let me get it out of the box and we can see what's in it. Okay, so in the package all you get is the reel itself, then you get a set of instructions and you get two massive bolts to fix it to the wall. As you can see I'm in the UK, so I've got the standard UK plug on this. Let's have a quick look at the side of this. Alright, what does it say? It says Super Handy cable reel, 15 meters, 230 volts, so it's good for the UK. Now there's a couple of different ratings here. Now with it wound up, it's 1 kilowatt, and with it unwound is 2 kilowatts. I'll explain what that's all about in a minute. You've got a reset button here and a little LED light here. Okay, let's have a quick measure, see how much of this we actually get. So it looks like we get about a meter's worth of lead here to actually plug it into the wall. And then obviously this end is 15 meters, which should be more than enough for my workshop. Okay, let's have a quick look at the instructions. One thing I haven't mentioned so far, the actual outlet here, you've got a single 3-pin plug, okay, 13 amp, 250 volts on here. It looks like a molded case, but you can actually unscrew it. So if you need to do any repairs, that's a good thing. All right, the boring bit, the instructions. It says Super Handy professional cable reel. Does that mean I'm a professional? Okay. Right, so there's a picture of it on the front, which is not very exciting. It goes over some general safety regulations. And then we've got some specifications here. Let's have a close look at these. Right, so quickly looking at the technical details here. There's two different item numbers, so this obviously covers both of the different reels. The GEUR 008 and 009. Now obviously the difference is the length. Now this says length in feet, 15 and 20. Now on the actual reel itself, let me show you, it shows you 15 meters. Right, what's right? We might have to actually measure that, because 15 feet is not going to be much use, but 15 meters would be perfect. Anyway, moving on. Okay, we've got some little bits and pieces here you might need to know. Sectional area is millimeters squared, 2.5. Number of cores, 3, so that means it's obviously got an earth. Socket plug Britain, because that's where I am. Okay, volts 230. Wound watts 1600. Unwound watts 3200. Now, why would that make a difference? Let me quickly explain that. Okay, so before we go any further with the installation of this, they give you two power ratings, one with it pulled out and one with it all wound back in. Now, the reason they do that is because when you've got a big load of wire wrapped around in a small area, okay, you end up with a coil, like this one, for example. Okay, and I know from personal experience that with this wound up, now this is a 50 meter extension lead, okay, and I pulled it out. I only had a couple of meters of it actually powering something, but I was powering a heater. Okay, now that draws a lot of current. Okay, a lot of current going through a lot of wire wound tightly in the coil creates a lot of heat. Okay, so that in turn will change the resistance of the coil of wire. Okay, all very technical, but basically what happens, it will overheat. And it could cause some problems if you've got an RCD plugged in. Okay, it's just a warning. So what they do is they give you two different readings. One with it pulled right out, which means you can power something a little bit more powerful, and one with it round in, which means you have to watch what you're doing. Okay, generally that won't make any difference. Okay, if you're just using a sander or a drill or something like that, that won't make a blind bit of difference. But if you're using a heavy consumer of electricity, then it might become an issue. But for me, in this workshop, with all the stuff I've got, that's not really going to be a problem. But that's why they give you two readings. Anyway, back to this. Right, so back to the instructions. Again, it gives you a little picture here with some dimensions on it, which you might need to know. Okay, the distance between the holes, it gives you a measurement here. Then it gives you some installation guide, operation guide, some maintenance, a limited warranty and some troubleshooting. Also an exploded diagram of what's inside. So I'm wondering if you could actually get some spare parts for this, but hopefully we won't need them. Okay, and then there's just the key for the spare parts. Right, that's the instructions. Let's have another quick look at the actual reel. Okay, as I say, the whole body is plastic. This is plastic, this is plastic. A nice bright orange colour so you can see it in the workshop. It's got looks like a thermal reset here and a little LED here. On the side here, we got a bracket, which is what you hang it with. You can't slot it into another bracket. It's just this one or nothing. Just need to drill two big holes and put these two big bolts in it. Right, where am I going to put it? Where am I going to put it? Let's have a look. Right, so in my last video about the retractable airline hose, okay, that's up this end of the workshop. Now, I really want to put the extension lead up the other end of the workshop. So let me spin you around, okay, without knocking anything over. Okay, now up here, okay, I've got my old extractor. Now that at the moment is not being used because I've now got this, okay, the record power one. So that looks like a good place to be. So what I want to do is just move this out of the way, and that'll give me a bit of wall to actually mount it to. So let me do that. Right, so I've got my space on the wall there. Now hopefully this is going to be sufficient to put this up. So let me just offer it up without getting it too dirty. Yeah, I think that'd be perfect. So once it's up there, I can be able to fold it out of the way like this, and that should cover the whole of the workshop. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe up a little bit. Right, so let me mark that up and see how we go. I'm just going to hold this up approximately where I want it. And what I'll do is I'll drill one hole and get it hung right, and then I can drill the second hole. Okay, so first one, put it here somewhere. Okay, let's give me a drill and drill a hole in there. Okay, to drill a hole in now, I know there's no wires or pipe work in that wall because I just know there isn't. I'm going to use this, which is obviously my Stanley Fatmax SDS drill. I'm going to try an 8mm. That's in. Right, let's go. Right, before I drill the hole, I need to know how deep to go. Now, obviously, this is the raw plugs that they supply. Now, I could use the depth gauge here that they supplied with the drill, but I think what I'll do is I'll just go old school. That's the length of the raw plug. That's how deep I want it. Let's put a bit of tape on it. Okay, once I start drilling the hole, as soon as I get up to the tape, I know I'm deep enough. Right, stop mucking about, Frank. Start drilling. What is that? Right, just drilled my first hole here, obviously, and then this square suddenly appeared. What's that all about? Doesn't sound the same. Looks like it's actually wood. What's that all about? It's the middle of a wall, for God's sake. That's concrete and that's wood. That's interesting. Right, maybe I'll move it over a little bit. Right, so I've got those two bolts in there now. That's proper secure. I must admit, the raw plugs that they give with the kit are not fantastic. If you've got a preferred version you use, I'd probably advise using those, okay? But these ones have now gone in. Unexpected little lump of wood in there somewhere. I don't know what that's all about. But this used to be the original garage door, okay, across here. Okay, so that's probably what it is, probably something about that. Anyway, what I've got to do now is obviously plug this end in. If you notice up here, I've got a plug really close. So what I'm going to do is plug that in, cable tie this out of the way so it's not going to catch on anything. All right, so it's cabled out of the way. That should be nice and tidy now. Now, as you can see, there's a little LED on here, which I don't know if you can see that, just to tell you that there's actually power in the reel. Now, when we looked at the instructions, there was a bit of a difference of opinion. This said it was 15 feet, and this says it's 15 meters. So what we want to do is confirm. So from here to here is about a meter. So let's measure it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 17. So that's about 15 meters. Also, if you look here, I don't know if you can see, it's getting closer. As I've got closer to the end, there's a little red marker here. It's just a little bit of tape, just to let you know you're getting to the end. Okay, right. So if I want to retract it, all I have to do is pull it until it releases and then slowly feed it back in. Now, don't let it whip back on its own, because all you'll do is you'll break it. It won't wind up properly, and then you'll be at a loss because you won't have an extension lead. Okay, right. Now, this is a little bit long for me at the moment. That's going to get caught on something. I could mount it up here somewhere, but I think what I'll do is I'll adjust this, which is the stop, just to, so it's a bit more out of the way. Okay, can I do that? Let's have a look. All right, so if we look on our stop here, there's two screws, just posi drive screws. So what I think you can do, loosen those off, and then that should slide up and down. Do I have to loosen it, or do I have to take it right off? Might have to take it right off. So unscrew that one, unscrew that one. Okay, and then we could just put this a bit further down. How much do I want hanging out? Probably only about that much. Okay, you can do this wherever you want and just tighten it back up again. So then, in theory, when I wind it back in, it will stop and there'll only be this much hanging out. All right, let's give that a try. Excellent. Okay, so that's about it now. I like this camera angle because it makes my workshop look really big, but it's not actually that big. Right, so hopefully you can still hear me. This is my extension lead now. Now from here, Okay, I could just do that. I can have it plugged in over here somewhere so I could power my lasers, or I could come all the way over here like this. Okay, lock it off, and then if I'm working on the bench, I can plug in my sander. Okay, that is a really good idea. Now obviously when I want to put it away, just pull it. And it's out of the way. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks really good. Right, I think that's about it. Right, so that's about it. Now that's my super handy retractable extension lead by a company called Super Handy. As I say, I bought this with my own money, but I think it's going to be a worthwhile investment in the workshop. I've done a few upgrades lately, and it's going to make my life easier. 15 meters, more than enough room for this workshop, but you don't have to have a big workshop to have one of these. You can just put one in your shed, maybe, so you can pull it out into the garden when you're doing some gardening. Okay, I think that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. We've got this lead on the end here with a UK plug on it. It's fallen over. It's all a bit rubbish. Let's do that all again. Tell you what, let's stop that. Do that all again. Which was my retractable airline hose. That saves having hose. Oh, this is just rubbish, isn't it? Right, start again. Right, which one have I got? In feet. I thought it was more than 15 feet. I'm sure that should be 15 meters. Wound. Now that, I'm not doing very well here. I've got to take it down again now so I can take a photo of it.